special report drawing on an American tradition you know, looking at the results of a president's first 100 days in office. We are now on the eve of Trump's first 100 days, a busy, sometimes chaotic period, not only for him as a president, if you follow news and politics, but really a chaotic period for the country at times, dealing with his choices and actions as president. This benchmark dates back to FDR's sort of high watermark for a productive first 100.
In a surprising turn of events, Donald Trump has made a bold move that appears to betray none other than Elon Musk. The former president, famous for his unfiltered commentary, has now directed his attention toward the billionaire tech mogul. But why? What's the real story behind this unexpected clash? Stay with us as we unpack the details of this unfolding drama. You won't want to miss how this high-stakes power struggle is playing out.
Elon's done a fantastic job. Look, he's sitting here, and I don't care. I don't need...
President Trump put out a Truth Social today saying that everybody in the cabinet was happy with you. I just wondered if you had heard otherwise, and if you had heard anything about members of the cabinet who weren't happy with the way things were going. And if so, what are you doing to address those any dissatisfaction?
Oh,
Hey, Elon, let the cabinet speak just for a second. Are you very unhappy with Elon? If you are, well...
Before we dive in, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. You won't want to miss this one. It's finally happened. The unthinkable. A drama no one saw coming. But then again, maybe we should have "This is Donald Trump we're talking about," the master of surprise moves and headline-grabbing betrayals. This time his target? None other than Elon Musk. Yes, that Elon Musk. The man who convinced the world we'd be living on Mars and somehow turned every tweet into a global event. And now, Trump has seemingly cast himself as a villain in this unexpected showdown.
Elon Musk has been one of the president's most powerful advisors, but he now says he will be spending less time in the Trump administration and more time focused on his business as it faces backlash.
Hate to see you go, but we love to watch you leave. Wait, am I admiring Elon's ass in that joke? That's not what I was... Anyway, point is that Elon announced overnight in an earnings call that his time at Doge was coming to an end.
What else is new? The self-proclaimed master of the deal has now turned on Elon Musk in one of the most absurdly dramatic moves we've seen in a while. And let's be honest, we probably should have seen it coming. Trump and Musk, two towering egos in their own right, have always made for the most awkwardly mismatched duo. Their relationship swayed from mutual admiration to full-blown chaos, and honestly, there's something poetic about how it's all unraveled. If you're looking for the perfect metaphor for the chaotic roller coasters that are both Trump's and Musk's careers, this might just be it.
Away from FDR's record. This year, for all the headlines, the crises, or the bluster, we're going to look right now at the objective facts and results about these 99 days, 100 beginning tomorrow. We're going to focus on key areas of this president's leadership, his priority policy of immigration, something he says he should be judged on, his clashes over the rule of law, and of course, the economy where the Trump administration is faced.
First, let's take a quick trip down memory lane. The Trump-Musk relationship, at least in the public eye, started like one of those bizarre alliances you'd expect in a Marvel movie. Musk, the visionary behind SpaceX and Tesla. Trump, the man who seemed to launch his own space programs every time he opens his mouth. There was even that one surreal moment when Musk sat beside Trump in the White House, both smiling like two guys about to pitch a questionable startup in some back alley. At the time, people couldn't help but think, this is a match made in, well, some deeply cursed corner of hell.
Musk is such a unique relationship that you guys have to me, because I think in 2020 he voted for Biden, and now he's really done the 180. You see a lot of these bigger name celebrities doing a 180 and kind of being more supportive on your end. What is your guys'
We
relationship?
have great support. That's great. I mean, he feels that this is the most important election ever. He thinks the other side is bad people. Probably feels in many ways they're not competent, but he also feels that, it's for democracy, et cetera, and feels very strong. I mean, I'm not sure. I've heard, and he said, I've heard him before I knew him, that he said he voted for Biden. I'm not sure that that's so, I just find it.
For a brief moment, the world actually believed these two might fix everything. Musk with his sky-high tech ambitions, and Trump with, well, his complete lack of understanding when it comes to anything scientific or remotely technical. But of course, reality set in. These two were never truly aligned. It wasn't that Musk suddenly lost faith in Trump's unique approach to leadership, or that Trump became awestruck by Musk's ability to run companies where the concept of an 8-hour workday seems like a myth. No.
Under the most relentless short seller attack in the history of the stock market. This is saying something. This was affecting our ability to hire people. It was affecting our ability to sell cars. They wanted Tesla to die so bad they could taste it.
Well, most of them have paid the price.
Yes. Where are they now?
The White House is doubling down on its commitment to tariffs despite a continued dive on Wall Street.
Those tariffs now putting him at odds with his advisor, Elon Musk, Fox's Kevin Corke reports.
Stocks closed lower Monday, the market dropping for a third straight day. At the White House, the president digging into his global tariff strategy, dismissing fears his economic policies could drive traditional.
Musk's increasingly vocal political stances started to rub Trump the wrong way. And let's be honest, Trump can barely handle polite disagreement without spiraling, let alone someone like Musk refusing to pop a bottle of Tesla-branded champagne every time Trump makes a political move. The real shocker? Musk started talking about things like free speech and supporting causes that didn't exactly fit Trump's ultra-predictable, ultra-me-center brand. And that's where it all started to fall apart. You see, Trump has to be the most important person in any room. He doesn't share the spotlight, not even for 30 seconds, without feeling the urge to remind everyone just how great he is. So Musk, with his whole "I'll tweet random things and accidentally make billions" vibe, quickly went from intriguing to infuriating. Suddenly, Musk's version of free speech absolutism clashed hard with Trump's "why aren't you tweeting about how awesome I am" philosophy. It was too much. As Musk got louder, Trump got more. Well, Trump. Cue the Twitter rants, the ego meltdowns, and probably a few unlucky interns scrambling to clean up the digital wreckage.
Billionaire Elon Musk has ridiculed one of Donald Trump's top advisors. The Tesla CEO has responded to comments that were made by the US president's trade advisor Peter Navarro, who labeled Mr. Musk not a car manufacturer, but an assembler.
A good part of the engines that he gets, which in the EV case is the batteries come from Japan and come from China. The electronics come from Taiwan. The tires come. What we want, and the difference is in our thinking and Elon's on this, is that we want the tires made in Akron.
Yes, the backstabbing. That came with a bang. Let's talk about the exact moment Trump decided Musk was no longer an ally, but the enemy. The catalyst? Surprisingly simple, yet brutally effective. Trump went straight for the jugular and hit Musk where it hurts. Publicly. Sure, he might have started off subtle, but let's be real, subtlety is exactly Trump's thing. His version of betrayal is more like a wrecking ball to the face. Musk was once Trump's golden boy, someone to admire, even parade around a bit. But then, just like that, poof, under the bus he went. And it's not like Trump needed a solid reason. Sure, Musk's endless free speech crusade was probably annoying, but we all know the real reason. Trump's ego simply can't handle being outshined, especially not by a guy who casually sells flamethrowers, tweets memes for fun, and somehow makes billions while doing it. The moment Trump sensed that Musk had even a sliver of power or influence he couldn't control, that was it. The betrayal was locked in, and there was no turning back.
Last week was a week of collapsing markets, evaporating 401ks, and likely price hikes for the American people since Donald Trump's sweeping tariffs went into effect. The fallout may be too much for even the richest man on the planet. Here's what Donald Trump, confidant and multi-billionaire Elon Musk said about tariffs at an event yesterday.
I hope it is agreed that both Europe and the United States should move, ideally, in my view, to a zero tariff situation. That has certainly been my...
So what did Trump do next? Oh, the usual. He jumped on the "I don't really know him" train and acted like Elon Musk had never existed. Classic Trump. It was like watching a toddler throw a tantrum in a toy store after being told he couldn't have the latest shiny action figure. Meanwhile, Musk wasn't exactly having a party either, unless you count losing $1 billion a day as a celebration. During Trump's first 100 days in office, while Trump was obsessing over crowd sizes and tweeting about how historic his inauguration was, Musk was hemorrhaging cash. Tesla stock tanked faster than a kid on a slip and slide, and suddenly the tech visionary looked more like a guy desperately trying to remember his next big idea. To be fair, the looming recession wasn't doing Musk any favors. While Trump's economic brilliance was busy slapping tariffs on everything and pretending that solved the economy, Musk was staring down the harsh truth. People weren't exactly racing to buy luxury electric cars while their wallets were on life support. After all, who's buying a Tesla when your 401k looks like the burned remains of a lemonade stand liquidation?
Into his PR, the spectacle, the show. And people do think he and Elon Musk and this whole political thing was big and resilient. The Washington Post, taking stock of another Trump Hell Week, is asking, cue the phrase, are things falling apart for Trump? The question's more than fair. Today, right here, you can see the president departing for the Pope's funeral. That may offer him a break from some of the chaos that he's been reckoning with. If he's traveling over there for the funeral, he won't be available to do another in-person meeting soon, with CEOs warning about empty shelves coming to America from
Tesla stock? It tanked harder than Trump's approval ratings after, well, anything he said, really. On top of that, Musk got to enjoy a front row seat to Tesla's production delays and quality control issues piling up like a slow-motion train wreck. Investors were practically sprinting for the exits faster than you can say autopilot failure. So while Trump was out there making America something, Musk was making less money than even he thought was possible. Who would have guessed that the guy aiming to colonize Mars would end up crash landing right here on Earth? But hold up, you're probably wondering, what did Musk do when his so-called buddy turned on him? Did he clap back with a savage tweet? Flame Trump with some viral meme? Nope, Musk played it cool. Too cool. He didn't dive into the drama. At least not publicly. Instead, he brushed it off with that signature smirk, pretending he didn't care. Because, of course, he's too busy trying to build Martian real estate empires and convince us that driving a $70,000 electric car is the only way to save the planet.
Ultimately, one company that has reported their earnings, first quarter earnings, yesterday was Tesla. And Tesla, the stock is now up But yesterday, their net income was announced. It's down 71%. And Elon Musk even said he admitted that Tesla faced a lot of blowback from his ties to Donald Trump. And now he's talking, and we're going to play a little snippet of it. He says, you know what, maybe I better go back to the car company because they need me.
But deep down, we all know Musk wasn't retreating to cry in his high-tech corner office. There's no way he was thrilled by Trump's sudden pivot. Still, this betrayal wasn't just a private spat. Oh no, it quickly became the talk of the town. As always, the media seized the opportunity to cover every juicy detail of the feud. People were practically frothing at the mouth over the spectacle of two billionaires who, let's be real, have both mastered the art of being anything but normal, getting into a full-blown public war. Musk might have stayed quiet on the outside, but everyone else was having a field day. Trump's fans? They were out in full force, high-fiving over the fact that their guy had taken down a bigger fish. Meanwhile, Musk's fans? They were probably sitting in quiet disbelief, thinking, oh no, not again. He's still letting that Trump guy mess with him? What now?
South Korea and Japan say they're going to work together in cooperation to respond to the tariffs that you're going to put into effect this week. Are you concerned that this move, the tariffs this week, could push some of the United States' closest allies to work with China?
No, I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about it. Yeah.
Mr. President, I'm going to ask you
I
about
think they have a chance of doing better, actually, with the tariffs if they stay on the second. And I think a lot of them will drop their tariffs because, you know, they've been unfairly tariffing the United States for years. If you look at the European Union on cars, the European Union already dropped their tariff down to 2.5%. It was announced a couple of days.
And then came the inevitable. Musk's turn to speak, or rather, not speak. True to form, Musk took to Twitter, the land of chaos where every tweet could be a game changer. He posted a meme here, made a passing comment there, maybe mentioned Trump once or twice. But in the end, Musk did what Musk does best. He didn't care. His followers probably ate it up. But did Musk lose any sleep over it? Probably not. After all, when you've got rockets to launch, who has time for political drama that isn't even about you? But let's get real for a second. What does this betrayal mean in the long run? Trump's latest move isn't just petty. It's a glaring reflection of how out of touch he really is with the world outside his own bubble. The guy just can't stop trying to relive the glory days of his presidency. But in doing so, he's making enemies out of the very people who once supported him. Musk might be revolutionizing electric cars, but Trump? He's busy watching his electric ego go up in flames.
Filing, the White House said that Elon Musk is not a DOJ employee and has no authority to make decisions. Can you clarify for us today?
Well, Elon Musk, Elon is, to me, a patriot. So, you know, you could call him an employee, you could call him a consultant, you could call him whatever you want. But he's a patriot. I mean, look at the kind of things. I just said, just write it down, just in case that question got asked, right? And which I'm surprised it took so long.
So what's next for Musk? Will he keep being the Tesla overlord who tweets about everything and nothing at once? Or will this spark a whole new phase in Musk's very public life? One where he stops pretending to be the neutral billionaire and fully embraces his role as the cool anti-establishment guy? Honestly, at this point, he might as well lean into the chaos. After all, we all know when it comes to billionaires, nothing is ever as it seems. Now, let's zoom out for a second and look at the bigger picture. What does this all mean for both of them? For Trump, this backstabbing could just be another chapter in his long history of self-sabotage, making him seem like the least predictable guy on the planet. He can't help it. He's like a walking disaster with a bad hairpiece. But for Musk, this could be a wake-up call that his political views might not be as universally loved as he thinks. Sure, he's got a cult following, but losing Trump? That's got to sting just a little. And as for us, well, we get to sit back, popcorn in hand, and watch the drama unfold, waiting for the next bombshell to drop.
Higher the tariff, the more likely it is to have them come into
the higher the tariff, the more you're going to put on the value of that piece, those goods, the higher people are going to pay in shops.
Ready? The higher the tariff, the more likely it is that the company will come into the United States and build a factory in the United States so it doesn't have to pay the tariff.
That will take many, as you know, that will take many years.
In fact, I'll tell you, there's another theory is that the tariff, you make it so high, so horrible, so obnoxious that they'll come right away. When I do the 10%...
Let's be honest. At this point, both Trump and Musk are so hooked on the drama that they're probably already planning their next big move, whether it's another Twitter war or, who knows, a literal trip to Mars to settle their differences. You can bet the world won't be letting these two off the hook anytime soon. So there you have it, the latest chapter in the Trump-Musk saga, full of betrayals, egos, and all the messy chaos that comes with two of the most hilariously out-of-touch billionaires we've ever seen. Don't worry, folks. There's definitely more drama where that came from, and if history's any indicator, they'll be back at it before you know it. Stay tuned, because who knows what ridiculous turn these two will take next. Now, let's talk about Musk's future, because this is where it gets juicy. Musk, the guy who once had the world convinced he was the smartest tech genius alive, now seems to be inching closer to a political career. And no, I'm not talking about running for president. I mean, he's seriously positioning himself to be a major political influencer.
I gotta start with this. So he's working for free with Doge. He's kind of put a lot of his life on hold. And you sued Twitter a number of years ago. You just made him pay you $10 million.
That's right.
That's right.
Well,
That's right.
I sued from long before he had it.
Yeah.
And I mean, they really did a number on me, and I sued, and they had to pay. They paid $10 million settlement.
You're okay with that?
I mean, I left it up to the lawyers and the team running Twitter. So I said, you guys do what you think is the right thing.
Musk's recent pivot toward conservative viewpoints has definitely alienated many of the left-leaning folks who once saw him as a guy who would save humanity, deliver self-driving cars, and regale us with stories about colonizing Mars. His support for free speech absolutism, combined with a few questionable tweets, has definitely rubbed people the wrong way. But now, with this Trump betrayal, Musk might be facing the reality that his political influence, like everything else in his world, is a highly volatile stock. 1 minute you're up, the next you're plummeting. This feud only makes his position more precarious. So, does this help or hurt his future political ambitions? Well, if Musk was trying to win over the MAGA crowd, Trump's endorsement would have been useful. But after this backstabbing, Musk may have alienated just enough of that base, too. So where does he go from here? The White House might be looking a lot more like an off-limits zone for him, no matter how many tweets about freedom he fires off.
That, hoping he's going to refocus his efforts on Tesla. He's saying it's because political sentiment, he thinks, and the uncertainty in the automotive and energy markets, but he has some plans coming up. He's on track to launch this robo-taxi business out of Austin, Texas, within the next few months. And then he said the second half of next year, 2026, he's going to have millions of Teslas operating fully autonomously. So those are the self-driving Teslas.
And the other thing is robots.
And the media circus. You know they're chomping at the bit. This feud between Trump and Musk is like tossing two oversized egos into a ring with a giant spotlight on them. We're talking ratings gold, baby. If there's one thing we've learned from the media's relationship with these two, it's that they're practically salivating for them to make a mistake, trip over their own egos, or have a full-on meltdown. And what better way to stir the pot than to fuel the flames of this petty back and forth? Picture it now. Headlines practically writing themselves. Trump betrays Musk. Is he the new tech enemy? Musk's free speech support fails miserably with Trump fans. You can already see the sensationalism taking shape. The media's favorite pastime? Taking two billionaires and turning their squabbles into primetime entertainment. They're not interested in resolving the issues. They're just waiting for the next juicy headline. So buckle up, folks. This feud is going to keep giving us content. And if history's any guide, it's only going to get more absurd before it's over.